Before you scroll away, listen carefully. What if the struggle you're facing right now is not a sign that God has forgotten you? What if the pain, the delays, and the closed doors are actually preparing you for something greater than you can imagine? And what if the breakthrough you've been praying for is closer than you think? Stay with me because this story could change the way you see every challenge in your life. One cold and rainy evening, a young man named Daniel sat alone in a small apartment staring at a pile of unpaid bills spread across his table. His hands trembled as he looked at the numbers. Just a few months earlier, he had dreams, plans, and confidence about the future. But now everything seemed to be falling apart. He had lost his job unexpectedly, his savings were almost gone, and every opportunity he chased seemed to disappear before he could reach it. Day after day he sent applications, attended interviews, and searched for work, but nothing changed. Rejection after rejection arrived like a storm that refused to end. Daniel tried to stay positive, but deep inside he felt defeated. Every morning he woke up hoping for good news, and every night he went to sleep wondering how much longer he could keep going. As weeks turned into months, things became even harder. He watched friends succeed while he remained stuck in the same place. Social media became a painful reminder of everything he didn't have. People around him seemed to be moving forward while he felt trapped. Doubt slowly began to whisper in his mind. Maybe he wasn't talented enough. Maybe he wasn't good enough. Maybe his dreams would never come true. One night, after another disappointing day, Daniel sat by his window watching the rain fall from the dark sky. Feeling exhausted and hopeless, he bowed his head and prayed. God, where are you? I've worked hard. I've prayed. I've trusted you. Why does it feel like nothing is happening? The room remained silent. Only the sound of rain filled the air. Daniel closed his eyes and wondered if anyone was listening. The next morning he forced himself out of bed and went for a walk through a nearby park. His mind was heavy with worry. As he walked, he noticed an elderly man sitting quietly on a bench watching a gardener plant seeds in the ground. Curious, Daniel sat nearby. After a few minutes, the old man turned toward him and smiled. "You seem troubled," he said. Daniel sighed and explained everything he was going through. The old man listened carefully and then pointed toward the gardener. "Do you see those seeds?" he asked. Daniel nodded. Most people give up because they expect growth overnight. They forget that before anything appears above the ground, something important is happening underneath the surface. The seed is growing even when nobody can see it. Daniel looked at the freshly planted soil. To anyone passing by, it looked empty. But beneath the ground, life was beginning to develop. The old man continued, "Sometimes God works the same way. Just because you can't see progress doesn't mean He isn't working." Those words stayed with Daniel long after he left the park. For the first time in months, he considered the possibility that his situation wasn't hopeless. Maybe the waiting had a purpose. Maybe God was doing something he couldn't yet understand. From that day forward, Daniel made a decision. He would stop measuring his future by his current circumstances. Instead of focusing on what he lacked, he focused on what he could do each day. He continued applying for jobs. He learned new skills online. He read books, improved himself, and helped others whenever he had the chance. Some days were still difficult. Some nights fears still visited him. But he refused to quit. Whenever doubt appeared, he remembered the seed growing beneath the soil. Months later, on what seemed like an ordinary afternoon, Daniel received a phone call. A company he had applied to many months earlier wanted to interview him. At first he almost ignored the call. After so many disappointments, he expected another rejection. But something inside him said, keep going. He attended the interview and gave it everything he had. Days later, the company called again. This time they offered him the job. Not only was it a job, but it was better than anything he had hoped for. The salary was higher than his previous position. The opportunities for growth were incredible. The role matched his skills perfectly. Daniel could hardly believe it. As he walked out of the office building after signing the papers, tears filled his eyes. Suddenly all the struggles, delays, and disappointments made sense. If his earlier plans had worked out, he never would have reached this opportunity. The closed doors had protected him. The waiting season had prepared him. The silence had not been God's absence. It had been God's preparation. Standing under the bright sunlight, Daniel smiled and whispered, "Thank you, God. You were working all along." In that moment he learned a lesson he would never forget. God's greatest work often happens when we cannot see it. The seasons that feel empty may actually be full of unseen growth. The delays that frustrate us may be guiding us towards something better. The closed doors that disappoint us may be protecting us from the wrong path. So if you're struggling today, remember Daniel's story. Don't give up. Don't stop believing. Don't let temporary circumstances convince you that your future is hopeless. Keep praying. Keep trusting. Keep moving forward. The seed is growing even when you cannot see it. God is working even when you cannot feel it. And one day, just like Daniel, you'll look back and realize that every challenge was preparing you for the blessing that was waiting ahead. If this story inspired you, subscribe to Faith Rise Motivation and join us for more powerful faith-filled messages. Remember, with God, your story is never over. Your breakthrough may be closer than you think.